it's a great question. I think if you work as a CCO for a large corporation, you become acclimated to the waters that tell you you measure what matters. You measure what matters, which is why businesses have P&Ls, which is why businesses have KPIs. So much of the conversations that you're having with your colleagues are data driven. And so what I've noticed is that a lot of people, when they're tasked, come up with a reputation campaign for this organization. They immediately go to, well, how are we going to measure success? What are the known performance indicators that we're going to pursue? And personally, I would say I think that's the wrong question. And whether you're the senior most level person or someone who's more junior on the team, I would encourage you to stop and think, what's the alignment that we need here at this company? Because more often than not, what you'll find is that the enterprise is not aligned. There's already people who are storytelling. What I've consistently found, both when I was a consultant and now that I've been client side for almost a decade, is that most corporations do not want for storytelling when it comes to their reputation. There are all across the enterprise, there are pockets of the company that are focused on telling the good story. Like, what is it that we do that's good that people should know about? The problem is that across the organization, you have a lot of passionate people who are thinking about the story in different ways. And as a result, what you really get is cacophony, not chorus. It's very rare. In fact, I've never seen ever all at once, independent of each other, human beings deciding to work in perfect synchronization. It doesn't happen. And so, that disconnect, that discordance is what you would find if you were to do an audit right off the bat. I think my first question would be, is this a communications imperative or is this an enterprise imperative? Is this something that you want comms to kind of do so that, we're just going to check in a box for a stakeholder? Or is this something that we're all in on? Because the answers really vary there. Look, if this is something that we have to do, just referring to comms, it can be easily done. If what, and this is typically what is true for CEOs, if what they're really looking for is command intent brought to life, the enterprise to get behind a vision, to march roughly in the same direction, then I think you need a few things. One, you definitely do need an audit. Understand who's storytelling already and how cacophonous it is out there. But two, I would say you need the imprimatur of the CEO to understand that this is something that's coming from on high. And then the CCO acts as the agent to kind of push it through the system to say, we understand that what you're doing is great. You clearly have the right intent. What we want to get to now is unification and bringing everyone under one banner. Here at General Mills, everything that I've discussed, I witnessed. And so what I mean by that is across the company, this is a company that prides itself on the good that it does, and it does good in a variety of respects. So it helps fund schools through Box Tops for Education. It helps farmers through its regenerative soil initiatives. I promise I'm not going to list them all, but there are a number of things that the company does that, again, pockets of the company are very proud of. And when I came to the company, what I saw was very clearly different storytelling in different pockets of the company. And I was tasked with make sure that our corporate reputation sinks. And in order for that to happen, one of the things that we collectively did referring to comms was not only did we do the audit, but we also did a listening tour to try to understand, where are the pockets of resistance and where are those pockets where people are ready to go for alignment. And once we had that, we were able to develop in co-creation, I would say, those that were perhaps a little resistant to the idea of falling under the corporate banner and explaining, here's the vision, here's the value proposition, here's what you're going to get out of it. Let's work together to develop something that would work for everyone. And that type of co-creation, that's sort of welcoming them in. I get why communicators might initially find that resistant, an idea that they would resist. But the to really attract people, it's rare that the stick works as well as the honey, if you will. So this is an interesting question because I do think that we started the conversation by saying that when it comes to corporate reputation, what I've seen and what I think is a mistake is that people start with let's measure. I do think once you get alignment, once you get unification, once you actually have a chorus and not cacophony, and everybody singing off of the same hymn book, then you can get to the traditional measures of success. And what I think is sometimes glossed over is let's look back and just look at all of those different parts of the company that were previously marching in different directions. It is satisfying to see them all now ready to launch one campaign. And from there, I think the answer is actually traditionally what it is. It depends on, is this primarily an earned investment? Is this an employee activated investment? Are you putting points behind it, by which I mean paid campaign? Um, Once you have these, have you benchmarked against others? You can, in different verticals like CPG, which is the category I'm in, you can see how others have performed. And you can establish for your team, this is what good looks like, and we need to exceed it. And so again, I think those are all traditional measures of success. It is time to embrace those once you have unification and you're aligned and you're ready to go.